Hi love, welcome back. In today's class we are making long sleeves men's shirt. If you're new to the channel, my name is Miss Ai and you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. Let's get right into class. I'm going to be using 4 to 5 balls of 80 grams acrylic yarn in these 3 colors. But we are going to start with the back panel, and I'm going to be using the white for the back. I'm not going to be changing colors. And also you have your scissor stitch markers and a 4.5mm hook and your buttons and tape measure. So I'll be using a 4.5mm hook for this project. First, you are going to measure your shoulder to shoulder measurement, or you're going to measure your chest and divide it by 2. So whatever you get would be your back measurement. This is into 2 panel, so we are going to start off with the back panel. So to begin with, you are going to make your slip knot and you are going to chain the total number of your shoulder to shoulder, or when you divided your chest into 2, the number you got. In my case, I'm going to chain 100 because I'm doing for a size medium to large. So I'll meet you when I'm done with my 100 chains. If you are new to the channel, my love, please subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you, my darling. Thank you, love, for always coming back to us. After your 100 chains, you are going to chain 2, and this chain 2 counts as a double crochet. You are going to prepare for a double crochet inside the 3rd stitch. So that is row 1. And keep working your double crochet in each stitch until the end of the row. So at the end of the row, you should have 100 double crochets. So keep working your double crochets to the end of the row. At the end of the row, you are going to chain 4. So this is 2, 3, and 4. And this 4 counts as a double crochet and a chain 1. So you're going to turn your work and you're going to skip 1 and just make a double crochet. So you're going to skip the first stitch and make a double crochet in your next stitch. Chain 2, skip 2 chains, skip 2 stitches and make a double crochet in your 3rd stitch inside the previous row, row 1. So row 2, you are going to be chaining 2, skip 2 and make your double crochet in the 3rd stitch. And this is the pattern for row 2, so keep going doing this until the end of the row, and I'll meet you when I'm at the end. So row 2 is just basically chaining and skipping until the end. So at the end of the row, you're going to put your last double crochet, and you should have something like this, and you're going to chain 2, turn your work. So for row 3 is going to be a double crochet row. So you're going to work 2 double crochet inside the first stitch. And work a double crochet on top of the double crochet space in your previous row. and keep working 2 double crochets in the mesh, 1 double crochet on top of the double crochet row. So row 1 and 2 is the repeat row until you get to the length you want. I'm going to make about 26 inches for my back panel, the length. So you're going to go all the way until the end of the row. And at the end of the row, we are going to chain 4. So the only thing is, when you are starting with the mesh row, the beginning chain is 4, and when you are starting with your normal double crochet row, the beginning chain is 2. So again, you are going to skip 1 and make a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2. You are going to skip 2 and make a double crochet in the third stitch, chain 2, skip 2, make a double crochet in the third stitch, and keep working your double crochets until the end of the row. So this is pretty much the pattern we are going to be using. If you don't understand anything, my darling, you can pause the video and go back and watch. And yeah, you keep increasing on this until you have your desired length for the back panel. For the front panel, we are going to work in 2 folds. So whatever measurement you go here, you're going to divide it by 2. This is how the back panel looks like and is complete. And this is 26 inches, but when stretched you can get 27 inches, and let's measure and see. So when stretched you have 27.5 inches, and we are going to be working the front panel, and we are going to work into 2. So the back panel we chained 100, the front panel we are going to divide whatever measurements by 2. So we are going to make 2 separate front panel, which consist of 50 foundation chains each. So make your slip knot and chain 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So keep chaining your 50. At the end of your 50 chains, you are going to chain 2, which counts as a double crochet, and you are going to prepare for your double crochet inside the third stitch and keep working double crochets up until the end of the row. So this is pretty much how we did for the back panel, the same exact thing. I just wanted to walk you through. So you're going to keep building this until you have the same length as the back panel, and I made about 26 rows. So this is the other part of the front panel, and again with this I'm going to be starting with my blue yarn, and hopefully I alternate between the blue, the white, and the red moving forward. So again we are going to make our slip knot, and we are going to chain 50 as we did for the other side of the front panel. So we're going to chain 50, and exactly as we did for the back panel, we are going to repeat the same exact process, just that the only difference here is that with this one we are going to be alternating colors. Other than that is still the same. We are going to chain 2 and make your double crochet inside the third stitch, and keep making your double crochets until the end of the row. And row 2 is the mesh row, row 3 is normal row, row 4 is the mesh row. So this is, keep doing this until the end. At the end of the row, you are going to chain 4 as I said earlier, and this 4 counts as a double crochet and chain 2. So you're going to skip 1 and make a double crochet inside the next stitch. You are going to go on making your 2 chains double crochet, 2 chains double crochet, and we are going to work the blue for 10 rows, and we are going to switch to our red color. So we'll continue the red for about 6 rows and make the white for 10 rows, and this is what your work should be looking like. So 10, 6 and 10, and we have our complete 26 rows for the project. Now we are going to assemble all these parts together, both the front part and the back part. And you are going to place them nicely and make sure that your wrong side is always facing you and your right side is always the one down, the one that is not facing you. So let's start by attaching the shoulder parts together, and we would do the rest when we are done with the shoulder part. So to start with the shoulder part, you have to make a slip knot, and you are going to go inside both the front panel and the back panel with a single crochet. Now we are going to chain 1, and we are going to make double crochets inside the double crochet space. So you are going to make 2 double crochets inside the double crochet space, and you are going to make a single crochet, connect it with a single crochet, but you have to skip 2 from the other side because you worked in 2 at the front side, and connect with a single crochet. So let me walk you through again. Now you are going to make your double crochets, 2 double crochets, which is 1 and 2, and 2. Now to connect with the back side, you have to count. So 1, 2, so exactly, so that you keep focus and keep working. And you are going to do this until the end of the row. So this is how it looks like, and you can barely see through which side is the connecting part because it all looks meshy, and that is what I wanted. So keep connecting both sides. So you're going to work up until the end of the row, and at the end of the row you are going to just make a slip stitch. And I hate cutting my yarn, so I'm going to make slip stitches to connect to the other parts of the work, or to just make slip stitches until I made about 5 slip stitches, and I would connect my other part of the top. The front part, you know, is 2. So yeah, I don't want to cut the yarn, so this is what I do all the time if I don't want to cut it, because I'll join it anyway. So just do, at this point, just do what you'll be comfortable with. If you feel like cutting it, that's fine. So I made about 3 to 4 slip stitches, and I'm here, and we are going to do this part exactly as we did for the other part. So we are going to begin off with a single crochet, and we will be working double crochets in each stitch. And for the front panel, and you make a single crochet, leave the 2 space, and make a single crochet inside the next stitch at the back. So you are going to keep alternating this until the end of the row, and I'll meet you at the end. So we are done with the row, and now we are going to measure our armhole, and usually I like to measure 8.5 or 9.5 depending on how big the person wants the arm. So at this point we are going to be working with 9.5 armhole, and we are going to start connecting our two pieces or our top from the bottom to where the stitch marker is. So to begin with, you would have to wear their nails, and so attach your yarn, and this time we are going to be working only single crochets. So chain 1, and inside the double crochet spaces you are going to make 2 single crochets, and inside the mesh space you are going to make 2 single crochets. So it's going to be two single crochets in each row until you get to where the stitch marker is. At the stitch marker space, you are going to take off your stitch marker, and this is where we are going to start working the armhole. With the armhole, you are going to work single crochets, 2 single crochets inside each row, and go around until where you started from. So 2 single crochets in each row. So work your single crochets until the end of the row or where we began. Row 2, you are going to slip stitch the single crochet row together, and now for row 2 you are going to chain 2 or 3 and make double crochets in each stitch until the end of the row. So go around and I'll meet you at the end. So I already did one top, so at the end you are going to just slip stitch and chain your 3 and keep going around and around and around. If you want to chain your colors, that's fine, but if you don't, keep going round until the length of your arm, and I made about 20 rows. And this is what I have for this top. Now we are going to do the borders of the top. before we can fix the bottoms and we will be done. Okay, and make the collar. With the border of the top, you start by attaching your yarn and making two single crochets in each stitch or in each row up until the end where we started from. So just go around to the other end of the top. This is how your work should be looking like, and you go up until the end of the other side of the top, and at the end you are going to chain one, turn your work, and you are going to work single crochets again to the end of the other side. So I'm going to be working 4 single crochets or 3, and I'll meet you when I'm done with my 4 single crochets going working to the other side and back. So this is number 3, and I'll just go around and cut it and fasten your yarn. So at this point, the border is basically just do how much you want to do so you can place your bottoms. So that's basically it, and I did 4 rows. Now the last thing is the collar. With the collar, you are going to measure from top to 6.5 inches, or you can make it 7 inches if you want your collar to be bigger or just coming so much in front. But if you want it to be medium normal, just measure 6.5 inches. Place your stitch marker, measure 6.5 inches, and with the collar I'm going to be working with the red yarn. So you are going to insert your yarn, or you are going to attach your yarn and chain 1, and for row 1 you are going to go in each stitch with single crochet up until where the other stitch marker is. So go around with single crochets, and I'll meet you where the other stitch marker is. So when you get there, you are going to chain 2 after your work to 10. You are going to chain 2, and just at the very first or the beginning stitch, you are going to put your double crochet inside that stitch and keep working your double crochet until you get to the other side of the red where you started from. So keep working double crochets in each stitch, and I'll meet you at the end. So at the end, you are going to work your last double crochet. You are going to chain 2, turn your work, and work now we are going to be working the mesh space. So chain 2, make a double crochet inside that same stitch, chain 2, skip 2, and make a double crochet in the third stitch. So this is just pretty much as we were doing earlier, just that at the beginning you are placing your yarn directly at the first stitch. You are not placing it inside the second stitch or the next stitch. You are placing it on the first stitch, and with that you would have a little increase. So at the end of the row, you are going to chain 2, and in each row you are going to start with exactly that spot, working a double crochet inside the first stitch, and after that you can keep working your double crochets around until the end of the row. So you're going to be alternating between this, increasing until you have your desired length for the collar. For the collar, I think I did about 4 rows, but let's go and see if I would add one more row. And yeah, that is basically the pattern for the collar. And when you're done with the collar, we are done. You just have to cut and fasten all loose ends. Very, 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 very important, so your work will not unravel. And fasten all loose ends, and the last thing you're going to do is to make a single crochet around the edges of the collar, and you are done. When you are done making the single crochet around the edges, you just go ahead and place your buttons. At this point, my love, my darling, my sweetheart, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe to the channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you, darling, thank you, baby, for always coming back to us. And also, if you've made it up until the end of the video, please leave us a heart sign at the comment section. We will really appreciate you. And also let me know your feedback on the video, please. I'll be very grateful. Like, share, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to come to class always. Until we meet next week, stay hydrated, watch our video, create more, and I'll meet you next week with another video. Bye bye.